But once you begin to grow the community, share the concept with others, and you begin to receive contribution from the community, then that risk is completely gone, and everything is positive from that point on. And so what we have is the opportunity to really leverage our participation or our sweat equity, if you want to say, to make a way for ourselves. So you hear a lot about self-made men and self-made women. They didn't have loans, they didn't have grants, and they literally went out there and they made a way for themselves. That's what we have here. We've got the ability to make a way for ourselves. A person can get started here with as little as $7 one time out of pocket and can go to work and literally create enough income to have a major impact on their lives. This is what I like about this. And when you consider these things, it lets you know that you're in the right place. We just have to stay focused and we just have to be consistent, ladies and gentlemen. And the money just shows up and it continues to come in because the concept is so solid. All right. So you have to understand that part. Now, here's the thing that I did. I did create a link for our community wealth building video, and that's communitywealth.info. Communitywealth.info. So you might want to write that down. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and play that video because that video is done now after some editing. We're going to go ahead and play that, and then we're going to get into our Forsage today. Okay, so bear with me. Why now, and how does it work? Hello, my name is Mark Hamlin, and in 2008, during the time of the Great Recession, things began to get really tough for us. I was in the construction business for several years, and the bottom began to fall out around 2011. 12 months had went by without us making one mortgage payment, and needless to say, we received that dreaded foreclosure notice. I didn't know what to do. I was under a lot of stress, but fortunately, I found out about a concept called crowdfunding. And within about 90 days, we were able to get all the money we need to save our house. I then took it upon myself to travel around the country, sharing with people this very powerful community wealth building concept. Not only did I travel across the United States, I also traveled internationally. So why community wealth building and why now? Well, it has a lot to do with wealth inequality, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking on my screen, you see an image of the global wealth pyramid. And what this tells you is that the top 8%, ladies and gentlemen, literally control 82% of the world's wealth. In fact, the majority of people are scrambling every day to just to be able to take care of their families and to accomplish their goals. And so it's kind of interesting that you would have a global wealth pyramid. And it's interesting that when we begin to come together in support of one another, people begin to use the word pyramid and to call it a pyramid when the entire global wealth system is a pyramid. Our jobs are pyramids, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing you need to understand is that when we come together as a community, it has nothing to do with who starts first. It has to do with who does the most after they start. The individuals can be anyone can be more successful than the person who first started it. This is why it's so important to dispel the myth of the pyramid and to have a good understanding of what is a pyramid and what is not a pyramid. Also, let's talk about the word Ponzi because that's thrown around a lot when people come together in support of one another. Also, most people don't know the definition. Well, a Ponzi is an investment scheme, ladies and gentlemen, that promises a certain return, enough to get a person to participate. But the problem is that they use the money from the later investors in order to pay the earlier investors. All right, so that is what's known as a Ponzi scheme. When you get involved in community funding, there is not an investment, there's not Forex, there's not cryptocurrency investing. It's literally a group of people supporting one another through generous contributions. So it's very important to understand that distinction and to know the difference. Now, when you begin to look at the wealth disparity and inequalities, we can start with the United States. If you're looking on my screen here, you can see that certain ethnic groups are struggling compared to other ethnic groups in America. But the thing is, it's not just the United States, it's all around the world. If you're looking on my map here, you can see that the countries in red They're the poorest countries in the world. You see Africa, you see certain parts of Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, also Central and South America, ladies and gentlemen. And one of the things you'll notice is that the worldwide highest income per family is in Monaco, and the lowest income is the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Let's go ahead and take a look at a list, and this information comes from Wikipedia. And you'll notice here that the bottom 40 countries, ladies and gentlemen, they don't even make $1,000 a month. How can you take care of a family, accomplish your goals and your dreams if all you're earning is $1,000 a month? And then the poorest country, of course, the Democratic of the Congo, ladies and gentlemen, they're only $43 a month to take care of an entire family. So it's clearly some issues going on, ladies and gentlemen. But the good news is that there is a solution. Now, the thing that most people don't understand is that collectively we're wealthy, but we don't know it. Now, where do I get that from? Well, I just want you to think about something. We support businesses, we support governments, and we support organizations that become extremely wealthy. But where do they get the money from? The money comes from the customers if it's a business, the money comes from the citizens if it's a government, and the money comes from the supporters if it's a nonprofit or an organization. What does that tell you? That tells you that the people have the wealth. They have yet to learn how to leverage that wealth in order to empower one another. We're helping everybody else except for ourselves. This is why community wealth building. People need to become aware of what's possible when we come together in support of one another. So now, people have actually been doing this for many years. It falls under the heading of ROSCA, which means Rotating Savings and Credit Association. This is where small groups of individuals agree to meet for a defined period in order to save and borrow together, forming what's known as a peer-to-peer bank. It's literally the people supporting one another, but they get to keep all of the proceeds. And this has many names around the world, ladies and gentlemen. In Latin America, it's called tandas. In Swahili-speaking East Africa, it's called chama. In Pakistan, it's called committee. In Mexico, it's called candinas. And you can see the various names here. This is not new. It's actually old, but it has helped people. The challenge is it's very difficult to do this with a large number of people. Normally, it would be small groups of people who trust one another, but that has changed now because of technology. Now, people have used other concepts too. You've all heard of gifting, but gifting actually falls under the category of crowdfunding now. Crowdfunding is the practice of funding a project or a venture by raising small amounts of money from a large number of people, typically via the internet. Crowdfunding is a form of crowdsourcing and alternative finance. In 2015, over $34 billion was raised worldwide by crowdfunding. So here's a legal way that people can get the money they need to accomplish their goals. It's legal all around the world to give money to help someone even if you don't have a product. Now, this falls under what's known as the Jobs Act. President Barack Obama signed this into law on April the 5th, 2012, right around the time when I was facing that foreclosure. Why? Because businesses needed to get money in order to survive, but the banks were not lending them the money, ladies and gentlemen. So this law was created to enable business owners to get funding by way of contributions from regular people just like you and I. But it not only applies to business owners, it also applies to individuals like you and I. This is why you have websites like GoFundMe. All right. And so if you can understand that, you can understand exactly what we are doing here. Now, the challenge with building a large community that literally wraps around the world is how do you transfer the funds, ladies and gentlemen? Traditionally, we would use Visa, MasterCard payment processors and the banks, but they have a tendency to take a large chunk of our money just from us moving money from one person to the other. Well, thank goodness for innovation and thank goodness for cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency is digital money, ladies and gentlemen. It's a digital asset designed to work as a medium of exchange wherein individual coin ownership records are stored in a ledger existing in the form of computerized database using strong cryptography to secure the transactions, to control the creation of additional coins, and to verify the transfer of coin ownership. So using cryptocurrency, we can now support one another, do business with one another at the lowest possible fees, ladies and gentlemen, and it can be done in a very short amount of time. So this is better, especially when you're talking about building a global community. And of course, the number one cryptocurrency in the world is Bitcoin. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is known as the people's money. The more that we use it, it has a tendency to be driven up in value. So, Bitcoin is really great because it is decentralized. Cryptocurrency is decentralized without a central bank or a single administrator that can be sent from user to user on a peer-to-peer network without the need of intermediaries. So this allows us to do business with one another, support one another without a middleman, and this is the freedom that the middle class needs in order to get to the next level. Now, the next concept you need to understand that makes this possible is called smart contracts. Now, maybe you might be familiar with traditional contract. That's where two parties come together. They will sign a document, maybe with a lawyer that will verify that document and then execute that document. But sometimes in traditional contracts, there can be some issues sometimes. Well, there's a better way of doing that. It's called smart contract. A smart contract is literally a computer program or a transaction protocol which is intended to automatically execute, control, and document legally relevant events and actions according to the terms of the contract or the agreement. The objective of smart contracts are the reduction of the need of entrusted intermediaries, arbitrations, enforcement costs, and also fraud, ladies and gentlemen. So this eliminates fraud because it's computer code. If this happens, that must happen. Once it's written and put on the blockchain, no one can change it. It will last as long as the internet and the blockchain exists. And the thing you need to understand, it is decentralized. It's not controlled by any individual. When you combine all of these technologies, ladies and gentlemen, the innovations, we now have the ability to build communities that can literally wrap around the world, and the funding potential and life-changing potential is unprecedented. Our parents could not even dream of it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, how does this work exactly? How can communities empower themselves? What exactly do they need to do? Well, they can leverage their talent and their resources, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a really good example. Years ago, people helped each other build homes and barns. You would first lend your time and your talent helping people build someone else's house, and in return, the community would come and help you build your house. Here's the thing you need to understand. Everybody had to do something. This is what makes this work. Everybody participating, whether you cleaned, cooked, passed lumber, or whether you were a skilled craftsman, everybody had to do something. That enabled them to build houses very, very fast, ladies and gentlemen. In return, their community would come over and they would help you build your house. But everybody first had to give in order to receive. What made it work is everyone participated. Everyone did something. This is how community wealth building works. Everybody participating. What is the participation? Grow the community, invite people to hear the message, set them a video, communicate with people, grow the community. That's the participation. Just get the message out. It's the simplest work in the world, ladies and gentlemen, because when people come together, even with a small amount of money, and we grow this community, lives can be changed, poverty can be eradicated, people can achieve goals no matter where they live around the world. This is what you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen. If you understand this, we invite you to partner with us through smart contract decentralized crowdfunding. It is absolutely real. It is changing lives right now. Now, the vehicle that we're going to use to introduce this to you, ladies and gentlemen, has already succeeded in helping people get hundreds of millions of dollars in order to accomplish their goals. So to get more information, or you reach out to the person who shared this information with you, and we will show you how to get started. So of course, we know that we are waiting for X Gold to be released, and we don't have a timetable. We know it's close, but it's not ready yet. And quite frankly, I'm glad that they haven't opened it up yet. They have a tendency to open up new programs too fast and no one be prepared. So the fact that it's taking a little longer, I actually think is better for us so that people can get themselves in position. So let's go ahead and talk about Forsage Tron, especially if you happen to be here for the first time. Okay, so the first thing you have to understand, and just like that video earlier, it's all about decentralization. Decentralization puts the control back into the hands of the people. You know, when something is centralized, it's controlled by a government, by a bank, a corporation, or some entity that has a benefit in controlling it. right? And so we want to eliminate those kind of situations. And this is what I like about Forsage and smart contracts. It eliminates already seen that demonstrated, and that's long term. And we definitely need the security, right? A smart contract is an automatic execution algorithm, and it exists within the Tron blockchain, one of the top cryptographic currencies. So Tron is like the number 15 or 16, most popular cryptocurrency in the world. It has some unique features. It transfers very fast, and even more importantly, the fees are very small. We're talking about pennies, ladies and gentlemen, 10 cents, 12 cents. Every once in a while, it might be 25 cents, and at the most, it'll be 50 cents. But most of the time, it's like 12 cents. All right. Now, smart contracts, like cryptocurrencies, are decentralized. They work strictly according to underlying program without the possibility of subsequently changing the defined execution. The code that contains all the logic of the contract expiration is on the blockchain, and all calculations are provided by millions of computers around the world. This ensures that there is no risk of hacking into the smart contract and stopping the project. So once we get involved here, we can sleep at night, ladies and gentlemen. Our money is not going to disappear. It's not going to be stolen from us unless we give someone our security words, which you never want to do. Other than that, everything is safe, it's long term, and we just have one job, which is grow the community, share our success, be consistent, and the contributions just continue to increase and to increase and to increase, ladies and gentlemen. So, like today, for example, I received a contribution from the Ethereum Forsage for over $7,000 this morning, guys. And so you need to understand, for Ethereum Forsage is going to come back. It will come back when the Ethereum fees drop, when Ethereum 2.0 is released, and they're talking about it every day now, or, very frequently now. So that's just a matter of time. But in the meantime, we are leveraging Tron, and when things move forward, we can actually have both sources of revenue coming in with the very same team. So I hope that everybody can see the big picture here. This is huge. This is huge. There's a new global economy being created as a result of technology. Okay, so now let's go ahead and talk about Forsage Tron in just a bit more detail. Okay, there we go. So we know that there are two active parts in Forsage Tron right now. There is X3, which is all about the people that you personally refer. This is why you want to consistently share the program with others, because you want to be the one who's creating the growth within the community. Remember, in a pyramid, there's a guy at the top, he benefits the most. But in this, ladies and gentlemen, it's not about when you start. It's about what you do after you start. The people who benefit the most are those who contribute the most in the growth of the community. That's why it's not a pyramid. All right. And it's proven, we can see it all through the back office. So you can have people who came in later, and there who are actually receiving more contributions from than people who came in before. That's why you know it's not a pyramid. It's anyone who calls it a pyramid, they have a lack of knowledge and a lack of information. They're just naive. Okay. So now we also have X4. Now, X4 is what's known as the team build. This is where you can receive help from the community, because, of course, you can support yourself by inviting people, but you can also benefit from people who were invited by someone who started before you, people invited by someone who came in after you, and people who have upgraded ahead of their inviters. All right. So Forsage Tron is proven because of Forsage Ethereum. All right, that brought in 1 million people and paid out hundreds of millions of dollars in contributions. Only thing slowed them down was the Ethereum fees and the success of smart contracts and DeFi, the decentralized finance. All right, that's a market condition of which nobody has any control over. Most people couldn't even foresee that that would happen. All right, developers didn't foresee it. We didn't foresee it. It is what it is. That's real life. But now we have Forsage Tron. All right, it's going to be here for a long, long time. So it's worth putting in the time and the effort. All right. Very soon we have X Gold coming. X Gold is very unique in that it is a larger team within this mega team. All right. It's force filled from the top down. All right. From the admin down, and people can fall into your team of 30 on every single level from the greater community. So this is huge. All right. So there are 30 places in 4 lines. 2 people on your first level, 4 contributions on your second, 8 contributions on your third, and 16 contributions on your last level. All right. And we know the people come from the entire community. So one of the things we're doing now is we are accumulating our Tron so that when this opens, we can upgrade to as many of these levels as we possibly can right in the beginning so we can be in the mix of the community build once it first launches. All right. Now we know that X3 and X4 now have 15 contribution levels, of which you can upgrade to out of your proceeds. All right. Anyone can get started with as little as 200 Tron. That's 100 Tron in X3 and 100 Tron in X4. All right. So 200 Tron, that's less than $6 one time out of your pocket. There are no monthly fees whatsoever. So once a person gets involved, they have one job. All of us have one job. What is that? Participate in the community, share your success, invite others to take a look at what we're doing, and grow the community. That's it. All right. No risk. If you came in at the lowest level of $7 and $6, $7, and once you referred your first couple of people, guess what? You got that back. You have no risk for loss whatsoever. All right. So this is one of the fastest, most effective, low risk ways for a person to change their economic situation. Just participate in the growth of the community. All right. So for each of the two programs, Forsage X3 and X4, they have 15 slots now, all similar and work in the same way. Each subsequent slot is 2 times more expensive than the previous one. Both income and profits from them are twice as high, but you can upgrade from proceeds without going back in your pocket. How many slots can be activated immediately? As many as you want. You can activate all 15 at once if you chose to. And there are no expiration dates, so you don't have to be afraid of them burning, and meaning running out and you have to pay for it again. We don't have to do that. All active slots move and bring you revenue in parallel. All right, they happen at the same time as the community grows. All right. Again, you can see X4, I'm sorry, X Gold. X Gold starts at 200 Tron, so we're talking about another $6 to participate there. And then each level doubles until you get to level 10. Once you get to a level 10 and beyond, it goes 100,000 Tron, 200,000, 300,000, 500,000, 800,000, and 1.3 million Tron. So they follow the sequence of what's known as the Fibonacci numbers. Don't let this confuse you or distract you. That's just a pattern of numbers that can be found in all parts of nature. And they decided to use those numbers when choosing these new additional levels, and which is kind of a cute thing. But basically, we know that each level is going to be a little higher than the previous one. Okay, so this is just a repeat of X3 and X4 as I mentioned earlier. We know that the first two contributions here are going to go to you, and the third contribution in X3 is going to go to your sponsor. It's going to open up this slot again so that you can continue to receive contributions at that level. X4, we know that the first two contributions are going to go to someone else in the community. Number 3, 4, and 5, those contributions are going to go to you. And the last one is the reset, which opens up 6 more contributions possibilities for you. Okay. And we know that in the center, where the gold is, X gold, we know that you have 2 people on your first level, 4 contributions on your second. We know that that's filled by the entire community. So for a person to get involved in all 3 parts of the program, once X gold is live, all it takes is a minimum of 400 Tron, which is less than $12. All right. So I explained this already. And on X gold, the first 2 contributions you received on the first level, they actually go to someone else in the community. But when you start getting contributions on your second level, you're going to get 20% there. Your third level would be 30%, and the fourth level would be 50%. And so once you have completed each level here, you're looking at a yield of 1,120%. Huge, huge. This is what you call leverage. Leverage is when we build this community, and through our combined participation, wealth is created. So, in my opinion, it's the fastest, easiest way for people to change their economic situation, simply to come together and partner with one another. All right. So now, but how does the automatic repeat and X gold work, because in X gold, the automatic repeat is once you have received at least two contributions at the fourth level, that's enough for you to upgrade, and to that's enough for you to cycle and to repeat it over and over again. So the question is, how does that happen automatically? Well, the secret is that the developers of Forsage had to literally give us our own smart contract that functions according to a code. And so for a new activation of the same slot, you need an amount of 100% of its value. But payments from the fourth line are 50%. So you only need to collect two payments on that fourth line. So it's impossible to know exactly in advance in what positions partners are going to show up inside the matrix. So you cannot take a place in advance. So it also is unacceptable for the developers to create a fund accumulation in the smart contract for the community. And so the solution was to create and literally give us our own smart contract within the TRX Forsage platform so that it could happen automatically. So that's very ingenious. I don't know how people even think of these things, but we partnered up with a great group of developers, ladies and gentlemen, and they are very innovative, as you can see. So what you're looking at on this chart is potential funding that you could receive if you simply completed each level just one time. So this is a lot of math here. I wouldn't even begin to try to calculate and crunch these numbers, ladies and gentlemen, but this just gives you an idea of the potential as you build a community up out and you upgrade through all of these levels in each part of these programs. The funding potential is life changing. Okay, but the fact of the matter is, in most cases, you're going to complete many of these levels multiple times moving forward. And so these numbers are actually very small numbers as to what the potential could be. All right. And so this what this is doing here is it's recommending that when you start that you upgrade at least to level 3 in all parts of the program. And so if you did that coming out of the gate, once X Gold was live and new people were coming in, they would take them 2,800 Tron in order to do that. And one Tron is about 0.026 right now. So you can easily do the math on that on a calculator, which I'm going to do right now. 0.026 times 2,800. All right, so that's like 72, 73, $75 for a person to come in all the way up to level 3 in all three parts of the program once X Gold is live. All right. So listen, it's time to turn on the force, ladies and gentlemen. When we come together, it's like magic takes place when people come together. And as long as people understand, what it takes, then it becomes amazing. It becomes amazing. We have already seen that demonstrated. And if you can wrap your head around it, and if you can be consistent in sharing your success and information with other people, you can do something amazing. That's what got me out of the situation of the foreclosure situation, ladies and gentlemen. And you might just be blessed to connect with some really strong leaders who have strong followings. And if you're consistent, ladies and gentlemen, and you can help them understand what we're doing here, that could be really huge, huge for you. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and take a couple of questions here. If you have a questions, you can type them in the chat box. Okay, so if you are confused, just get back in contact with the person who invited you so you can watch this again. So we're not going to we can't take the time to go through the whole thing all over again right now. But we've got several videos that will kind of explain it to you. So sorry that you're having bad connections over there. He says the sound keeps cutting out, so you might have a bad Wi-Fi connection or something where you are. So you're going to want to watch the replay and watch it in a place where you have a good signals. All right. He says, I love the site and he loves the colors though. All right. So sorry you're confused. Don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. Get in contact with the person who invited you and watch some of those videos in a place where you can see them. So now, so as I mentioned, Shay is traveling. He's in South America somewhere, wherever it is pretty nice, right? $100, we can kind of divide that by 0.026, and which is, the value of one Tron, less than 3 cents. So that would be 11,000 Tron. So what you have to do is kind of total up the total Tron that you would need to see how far that you can upgrade. But the thing about it is, once you fund your wallet with the Tron, You just keep on upgrading until you run out of money. Yeah, and so you can easily do some math to calculate that. If you are in Tron pre-launch, will your recruits automatically follow you in X Gold? Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're in Tron right now and you invite other people, they are literally following you into X Gold. In fact, when X Gold opens up, the team that you have developed already, they're going to automatically follow you into X Gold. And so it's like we have a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow just waiting on us. And why? Because the wealth comes from the community. The power is in the crowd. And so once you have that crowd built, and then something like this happens, another part of the program opens up, that crowd automatically migrates into that second part. And so you're going to see the first few days, first couple of weeks, we're going to have some tremendous testimonies of the type of funding that people have been able to generate because we have already built the community. And so you want to be sure to reach out to all of your team members to help them to understand what's going on, what's happening, so that they don't miss out. All right. So I really like what we're doing here. This is why I do all these webinars and I spend all this time, devote so much time into this because not only is it helping me and my family, it's helping a ton of other people. And the amount of people that this can help is really, it's a tremendous amount of people. And we're talking about all over the world. And so, really powerful. And we're in a very good place, ladies and gentlemen.
So get back to the person that invited you, get back to the person that shared this video with you.